One of the things I would say where we had the biggest sort of impact is female hormone health. Mm-hmm. Partly because the experience sucks so bad right now in medicine. It's like, it's your hormones. You're supposed to have problems, right? That's the kind of narrative. So we're going this delta value of this something that's so bad to like, we can fix it. So in there, after going through a few hundred women, we started to see that they always fit in one of 6 buckets genetically. And we didn't know we were going to find that. And genetics doesn't preach this, right? Because genetics looks at the gene. It doesn't look at the system or the person. So when it comes to hormone dominance, are you estrogen dominant? Are you testosterone or androgen dominant? When it comes to estrogen toxicity, which is the root cause of so many female hormone diseases, when it comes to toxic clearance, what do you now do with this toxic metabolite? With all those possible outcomes in that cascade, women fall into one of 6 buckets every single time. The middle 2 don't need anything because they're optimal. The outside 4 need something, but they're the same thing. Just one needs a more extreme version of the same therapeutic because they have the same problem. This one just has a more exaggerated version of that problem. So we went from literally, we have a lab in our office, in the middle of our office where we're custom compounding nutraceuticals for people, to the pill, to the dose, to work on their genetic expression, to understand how do we actually solve this problem at the root cause level. We now have 2 products for this female hormone issue. One on this end, one on this end, and you need 2 pills, you need 1 pill. But we only learned that unintentionally by going through 3,000 women, right? And now that has been done for all these various conditions. We built the AI that can now populate the reports and speak to the problem as opposed to the genes. So you understand, for anxiety, weight loss, carb metabolization, acne, whatever you name, all the big stuff. How do you rank genetically? Why are we saying this to you? And then what do you do about it? That's how we now talk.
Yeah. And I think in when people look at personalization, they have to understand also that there are patterns and particles in it. Yeah. Right. So when you have these patterns and you have the 6 buckets that are the patterns, you can then, address those and even go further with the particles. But the patterns are essential as well. And that kind of shows us a lot of where you're generally predisposed to go based on your genetics too, which is something I understand, that everyone's going to get a different treatment at our clinic. But there are definitely patterns for people with different diagnoses.
Oh, sure. And you start to see that where, everyone has their sort of niche, and this is what I do. I deal with Hashimoto's, or here's my protocol, whatever. And it still only works on 7 out of 10 people, right? You're doing a better job than the general primary care practitioner that doesn't understand Hashimoto's, as an example. But how do you then take it to 10 out of 10? So, and that's where you're saying that those patterns, those sort of profiles or personas, it's the same thing clinicians do now. You ask a bunch of questions, try to understand and measure, and this sounds like this thing. Let me give you this. We can now do that genetically. I can look at a woman or a man and now assume their genetics based on their body type, based on their hair, based on their skin, based on their behavior and how they move and how their eyes move. We've understood the traits. It's just another way of looking at medicine. It's more personalized.